My immigrant story basically is from 3 years ago, and it's me. I'm an immigrant from Atlanta, Georgia. Before that, Los Angeles. But let me tell you, when we decided we were going to move to Milwaukee, I really didn't know much about Milwaukee. I knew a few things, of course, just from what you hear, but whoops, I'm supposed to do this, sorry. I knew a few things. I knew more things about Wisconsin. Number one, I married a guy from Wisconsin. I met this guy when I was in college in Michigan. I met him actually at the spring football frat party, where the father of my children-to-be was holding court in the basement of the frat house. And for any of you people who grew up or were in college in the 80s, remember those really awful overalls that guys would wear with no shirts underneath? That was my first vision of my husband. There he was holding court, drinking beer, because it was a spring football game and the season was over and he could now drink beer. You all will be happy to know that my husband took on everybody to defend the state of Wisconsin as the top beer drinking state. So one by one, a guy from Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana came up to challenge him, and he won. He won everything. For some reason, I said, this man will be the father of my children. That was my first understanding of the state of Wisconsin. They are serious about their beer drinking. Yes. The second thing I understood about Wisconsin, being married to this man from Wisconsin, is we had a 3-year-old daughter. We were living in Los Angeles. We decided to come back to the Midwest to visit family. We landed after, I think it's like a 4-hour trip, and when you have a 3-year-old, it's like a 40-hour trip on that plane. We landed at General Mitchell. We're at the luggage thing, whatever that rounder thing is called, and we're all very, very tired. My daughter Maya is looking really concerned at this point. I was like, what's wrong? We used to call her B, our little B. I was like, what's wrong, baby B? What's wrong, honey? And she's like, I'm not sure where we are, Mom. I said, well, we are in Wisconsin, honey. You know, we're going to see Grandma and Grandpa and your cousins and everything. She goes, are you sure we're in Wisconsin? I'm very sure we're in Wisconsin. We're in Milwaukee. I said, why are you wondering? And she said, because I listen to the people talk here, and they talk like they're from another country. What country are we in? I said, we are in the country of Wisconsin. She said, and now she's 3.5 years old, and I'd straddled her with a very odd name. Her name is Maya Lisa, spelt the Finnish way. So the letters of the alphabet had been a struggle for her at this point, and she's listening to these people speak with the long A's and the O's, and then my husband still says the word mountain, and all these kind of very long vowel sounds. And she said, Mom, do they have the same alphabet here? Because I've been working really hard on the alphabet. I said, yes, Maya, unbelievably, so it is the same alphabet. So that's the second thing I knew about Wisconsin, that people do have a little bit of an accent, a little one, right? But that the people here are mighty fine, mighty good people. The third thing I learned about Wisconsin is that when you raise your children outside of the Midwest, they will think that this is the most exotic and different and fun place in the world. So you can take them on vacation here for next to nothing, and it's okay. They will go fishing, and they will walk down the streets, and they come back and they say, Mom, everybody says hello to me here. So we had a lot of really good times with our children coming back to Wisconsin. But then we decided to move here. At this point, we are in Atlanta. And like every couple, when you get to, when you're writing up your list of when you know you're going to move somewhere, where do you want to live? What do you want your house to be? We both wrote up our list. I had my list. Joe had his list, and for anybody that is married, you know your lists are exactly alike. Nothing on our list was the same, except one thing, water. So, like I said, I had never been to Milwaukee before, and I just knew, like, my husband, his idea was we're going to go and we're going to move on a farm and we'll be on a lake and it'll be great, very peaceful and quiet. And I was like, no. You know, see, I'm a filmmaker, and I was like, I need to be with my people, with my artist type of people. And somehow we stumbled upon Bayview. I actually was playing hooky from my realtor one day, and I know there's a couple realtors in the room here, and I was like, yeah, I'll go and have a cup of coffee and I'll go look through that MLS thing and I'll meet you later. So I went to Collectivo and I had a cup of coffee, and guess what? There was the Milwaukee Film Festival's program book. Right? I read this and I was like, I have people here. I have people who know film here. This film festival chooses really good films. These are films that I wanted to see, films that I hadn't seen in LA or Atlanta. It was going to be okay. So I knew when I opened up that book that I had people here and that it was all going to be okay. The next thing I did that was brilliant on my part, I said, well, let's go out to eat here. And then we started looking at the restaurants. Holy cats, I have not had to cook a meal since I moved here. This has been another good place for me. So I've been here 3 years now. People often ask me, wait, you lived in LA, I worked at DreamWorks, I lived in Atlanta, worked on huge productions, huge films, and they're like, how can you live in Wisconsin? I said, you don't understand. Wisconsin is up and coming. The film industry is growing here. I am now the director of the Milwaukee Filmmaker Alliance. Woo! Who knew I would have such a career move from moving to Wisconsin from Los Angeles? And that right now in this city, this greater area, are 15,000 creative people who have all the skills and talents and abilities as anybody else. And so it's such a privilege and an honor to be here and to be able to represent these creatives. And now, here's a funny story within a story. I had a conference call about a month ago with somebody from Washington, D.C. who will remain nameless. However, the call was this. Guess what? Some of these art organizations have decided that maybe people in the Midwest have stories to tell, and they would like to fund us. And I was like, really? Yes. And they said, it's the Rural Initiative. I looked at the partner who was on the line with me, or in the room with me, I said, do we tell them Wisconsin is not all rural and not all farms? That actually Milwaukee is a major city? We decided not to. We're just gonna get the money. Thank you.